for this next message. Okay. I would take the time, and Andrew, let me squeeze in a quick share screen here. Take 30 seconds. I think this is one of the most important things you can do right now. Oh, sorry. Is to write down your notes and look through. And so number one, I would just take 10 seconds. What were the top most important general themes that you took from that message? Any smart business person is going to do that right now. So take 10 seconds, 15 seconds. And once you've done that, go through the notes you have taken and put like either star or dollar sign next to like the big three, right? Because sometimes we come off of a message like this, our brains are exploded. Like Jorge Flores, I think all of your brain is out of your head because you keep posting this head blown emoji on your group chat. But sometimes we have so much information that we put nothing to use, okay? So 2 tips for you. Number 1, always write your biggest takeaways at the end and highlight your top 3 to 5 points, right? Always physically write or physically type the best takeaways, like the biggest 3 themes, and then highlight your top 3 notes that you've already taken. Number 2, if you're on the Alliance, that's where we have our debrief tomorrow, right? We will have a phone jam from 8 to 9 if you needed to book appointments. That will be optional, unlike the Alliance phone jam before. It's up to you, and then you can talk to your manager about that. But then from 9 to 9:45, each individual office is going to run a local Alliance, and we're just going to spend the time to debrief these messages, okay? Then Thursday, we're going to role play the key parts that we learned, and then on Friday, we're going to plan the rest of your summer for an exciting, amazing, outstanding, super killer, just like butter, summer 2020. Okay? Give me a thumbs up if you got some value from that message. You guys like that? You guys like that? Well, before we go to break, one very important message. I want to turn things over to Mr. Andrew Evans to talk about our Leadership Academy. It's really tough to put this into words, but when I watched Taylor Max teach that to you and how awesome he is, he said 2 or 3 things that just made my heart shine. He goes, I remember I learned this at an SLDM, Jeff. Right? He started just like all of you at a meeting like this, or a meeting with Andrew, or a meeting at SLDM. And those are the fundamental events that you have to be at to get exposure. Number 2, I love the fact that I know deep down inside, the reason Taylor Max is such a great, unbelievable, like butter teacher, ready? Is because he's branch trained. He's run 2 branches. I've watched him train his people when he was running his own office up in the Miami Lakes, north part of Miami area, when he did it twice, not once, but twice. He's vector trained. He is TLA trained. He is branch internship trained, which you're going to hear about the branch internship from Luke in just a bit. But the key to all of that is our flagship program, and that's the Leadership Academy. I think that's a really important thing to understand, that one of the things that Andrew and I are so excited and we are on the hunt for are A players for our Leadership Academy. So I want to take a few seconds to introduce Mr. Andrew Evans. Andrew started with me in our Florida Caribbean organization out of our West Palm Beach office. I remember this young man still in high school, super excited. And Andrew, I actually just decided to pass over the, casualty, I would call it, of showing incriminating photos. But man, I found some incriminating photos of you from when you started and your division manager. Oh yeah. So I'll just send them to you individually. You're a division manager now, so I got to protect that. But man, it's fun to watch the growth, the evolution, and the here you go evolving product known as Andrew Evans Cut Crew Through College product. This young man started as a sales representative, and the rest really was history. One of our top sales reps, one of our first admitted to Leadership Academy, ran not 1, not 2, but 3 branch offices. And each time, not only did he increase, he ended up breaking and then setting twice the national all-time record for branch sales in an office. And this is out of his Metro Miami organization. With that, he put his 5-star resume to the test, and it's really awesome to take him through the process, because I said for 5 years, Andrew, stick with us, work hard, be a 5-star graduate. Stick with us, work hard, be a 5-star graduate. And I watch him, right, while all of his friends were attending work conferences at FSU and scrambling to find an interview, he was getting flown out to LA for interviews. While the rest of his friends were, dude, I don't even know if I'm going to get a job. Andrew had to cut people's interviews out because he had too many interviews and had to pick the best ones. So when I say 5-star graduate, boys, girls, ladies, gents, people of all ages, he is a great. our team is a great example of, if you stick with this, what can you do? And how can you, ready? How can you squeeze the juice known as Leadership Academy, cut through college and our company to get what you want? And I'm so thankful that he chose us as his first step out of college. Here he is now, one of our most successful new district managers that just recently got promoted to now one of 44. He is the youngest division manager in our entire company. I'm proud to show off our new division coordinator. I'm proud of his accomplishments. On a personal note, Andrew, I've watched him grow up almost. It's like I'm too old or too young for him to be my son. Too old for, it's just weird. But I would say, Andrew, it's just been fun to watch you grow, man. It's been fun to watch you go into this. And it's really funny because the other day we had a division manager meeting in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And I walked into my, we get these fancy hotel rooms. I walked in and there was Andrew. And I looked at him and I said, "You're my roommate, aren't you?" And he goes, "I am your roommate." I said, "Man, to think about when you were 17 and now you're my roommate. We are peers. We are colleagues." It's exciting for me to introduce you, Andrew. And what better topic for you to talk about than something you just really maximize in college, the Leadership Academy Opportunity. So I give to everyone. Let's do some snaps up in the air for our division coordinator from the coast, Mr. Andrew Evans. Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you, Jeff, for that intro there. And yeah, look, guys, I can't tell you how excited I am to be talking to you and to have the opportunity to talk to you guys today about TLA and the Leadership Academy. Like Jeff mentioned, this is something that is near and dear to my heart because of really, I went through TLA 5 separate times. Five times I went through our TLA, our Leadership Academy program. And, a lot of people today even ask me, like, even things I do outside of Cutco. And the reality is, guys, is that like everything for me started with the opportunity that the company provided me when I was 17 years old, and just getting ready to wrap up high school and just moving in to my senior year, and, getting into TLA at that age really changed the trajectory of my life, and it continued to do so all throughout my collegiate years. And so, one of the reasons why I love being a DVM, one of the reasons why I became a district manager, one of the reasons why I stuck with this for so long is because I love and I'm passionate about being able to create that same opportunity for other young people. And yes, we do it through the job, but I really truly believe that we do that. Our premier product is TLA. And that's where really everything begins. And we're known as the company that develops students. Not the company that works with students, the company that develops students. And the way that we develop students is through our Leadership Academy. And it's really, really exciting to see all the hype across the division. I've got so many people blowing up my phone every single day, getting on the radar, making moves, trying to get into TLA. And, so I want to pose the question I always ask people. I tell and encourage the people, ask the question of why a lot more. I think if you look around, I think that's one question that not enough people ask, from time to time, is why? So a lot of you all, I've gotten texts for some of you guys and you're fired up, excited to get into TLA, but why? Why TLA? Why make a statement this summer? Why work hard to get into the Leadership Academy? And so I want to take, 20 or 30 minutes to talk to you guys a little bit about what TLA is, why it should probably matter to you, and how to make a statement, how to open up some opportunities for yourself for this summer and beyond. So speaking of why, I love working with students. I love working with young people. I love working with this generation specifically. This generation, like, your parents might not tell you this, your teachers might not tell you this, and it's exciting for me because I'm young enough to where I can kind of relate enough to the younger generation, and also old enough to realize, like, holy crap, how much this has changed even since I was their age. You all, like a lot of you all that are high schooler, like seniors, freshmen, you are the first generation that's ever grown up with technology their entire lives. Like my generation was just off the cusp. I was just old enough to where like when I was growing up, like I started the job and I didn't have a smartphone, but like within a year or two, everybody had smartphones after I started the job. So it was just off that cusp, you all are the ones, you grew up with computers, you grew up with iPads in your house. A lot of y'all, you grew up with all this technology already, and that changes a lot. for people. This generation is different than a lot of the other generations that have come before. This generation really, really deeply cares about other people. They're not just concerned with themselves. They're concerned about the well-being for all people, right? This generation asks questions that previous generations did not ask, and to be honest, your parents won't tell you this, but the rest of the generations above you have no idea. They can't relate to you. They just can't. They want to coach you and want to be able to mentor you, but you're growing up in a dramatically different world than the world that they grew up in. But I like working with this generation because they ask the questions that ought to be asked. That's why we have TLA. Why TLA? Because, we're right now in a job market that's unprecedented for college students. In a realm and world where before Corona, we have the lowest unemployment rates that's ever been recorded in the history of America. We have the highest unemployment rates for recent collegiate graduates. Why TLA? Because this article came out, okay? We have now reached a point in our society, in our world, where everyone gets a college degree. Everybody graduates from college, okay? If you don't go to college, you're among the small percentage of people that don't. It's just the reality of the situation, right? Over 65% of college students graduate with a 3.0 GPA and at least one internship experience on their resume. And still, 2 out of 5 students, that means 40%. Let's put this in other words. 60% of students go to school, pay for it for 4 years, dedicate 4 years of their life, and then graduate without a job offer out of school, right? The average student salary is $27,000. Now, this is from a couple years ago, but the reality is, guys, I wish I could say these stats got better. Y'all look around at what's going on, the coronavirus stuff, like they didn't get much better. And I would argue they're getting worse and going to get worse. It takes the average college students 8 months to find a job after college graduation. And over 50% of college students graduate and move back home with mom and dad within 6 months of graduating from college and universities. Why TLA? Because, right now in Corona, summer jobs dry up and teens face the highest unemployment rates in decades. Why TLA? Because, and by the way, I was going to take this out. This is kind of old. This is 2013. Today's youth favors entrepreneurship, but few have skills, according to poll. You're in a generation that care, and here's what I want. This is, by the way, from 2013. This is before. This fact has only become more prevalent. The entrepreneurship, y'all are realizing, some of y'all are realizing, wait, I could make just as much money as an engineer on TikTok, recording videos and stuff like that too. Why would I do, y'all are starting to realize, you're in a different, there's way more entrepreneurialism than this was in 2013. And by the way, guess what? There's even fewer skills too, right? This generation cares more than everybody. And at the same time, this generation has less skills and ability to do anything about that deep caring than any other generation before. They're less equipped than any other generation. Why TLA? This is from Mike Williams, the Associate Dean and Marketing Professor. College students who have sold Cutco are shortening the learning process on their way to becoming entrepreneurs, whether they stay with Vector or move on to their other careers. When I meet a Cutco sales representative, they make eye contact. They are confident. They communicate effectively. These young entrepreneurs stand out as leaders with life experiences. They have gained significant professional and life experiences at a young age. A lot of you guys know this. We've received countless awards, and it's been crazy because, for me, for many, many years, look, we've always had a great, amazing product. Cutco's been one of the best of its kind, the number one in its industry for 70 years. But still, we weren't getting awards and accolades all across the country just because we had the best product when it came to kitchen stuff. We were the number one recruiting program for college students for years. We didn't get all these awards and accolades just because we worked with more college students than everybody else. But all of a sudden, the awards started tumbling in. Okay. And the reason that we have so many of these awards coming in, USA Today, number 12, for college students, number 12 job in all of North America, top 20 jobs above, above Delta Airlines, above Microsoft, above Trader Joe's, Salesforce. Okay. Very, very highly rated companies. And that's because guess what? All those companies, they go and hire people. They go out there and hire people that have worked with Cutco and Vector. they go out and hire those people. And that's why we started getting these accolades and awards, because a lot of people that started running these companies know when they want to find somebody that's high quality, that's top notch, that has real skills, they go out and find someone that not only has worked for Cutco, but that's gone through Leadership Academy and that has some experience to back it up, on their actual resumes. Why the Leadership Academy? Because people go through ebbs and flows, and our world goes through ebbs and flows too. There's a difference between knowledge and skill set. Knowledge and skills are two completely separate things. And the world values different things depending on the era of time that we're in. The early 1900s, the manufacturing age, it wasn't really about being educated. It was about having skills. Being a craftsman was highly valued. You would have to have basic skills inside of a factory to work, and the highly skilled workers got paid the most, the people that were the most highly skilled at their jobs. Fast forward 50 years, a half a century later, it's not about skills, it's about knowledge. It's about how much, it's not what you can do, it's what you know, right? Science, technology, engineering, mathematics, studying, learning. That's what became important. That's what moved the economy. That's what got the best jobs. That's what the most high paid people were doing. They were the smartest. They knew the most. They had the most knowledge. Okay. It was a lot more about intellectual gains than anything else. Okay. And then something happened in the early 2000s called the internet. And the internet came along, and it started off kind of slow. And then another 10, 15 years came around, and then people started realizing, wow, all this knowledge I'm trying to store in my brain, I don't have to really memorize anything because it's all out there if I want to hop onto a computer and do some research and look it up. And then something around came an iPhone, and then now you have it at your fingertips at any second. So I remember being in high school, or no, I don't even know how old I was. Probably not high school, probably elementary school or earlier. I remember sitting there learning, and this is me at a young age, sitting there learning math, right? And I would learn these math equations. I remember asking my teacher, I'm like, look, I was good at math. I was one of the top prize students in my school at math. And I remember why are we learning? Why am I memorizing this stuff? Don't I have a calculator? Can I just use my calculator? I remember our teacher told me, well, yes, Andrew, but you're not always going to have a calculator on you at all times. I think I have a lot more than that now. Okay. We live in a different world, right? We live in a different society where it's not about how much you know, because the reality is it doesn't matter how much you know. This is as way more information and way more knowledge than you'll ever be able to store up here. And the world is moving back into an era where we're going to AI, we're going to technology. People are beginning the capacity for people is getting ever big and ever expanding. And people now, our world is shifting into an age where skills, because it doesn't matter what robots, or if there's a robot that's smarter than you or AI that's smarter than you, it doesn't matter. It can't replace human skill set. And that's where our economy is shifting right back to. Knowledge refers to learning concepts, principles, information regarding a particular subject by a person through books, media, encyclopedias, academic institutions, and other sources. And by the way, knowledge is pretty damn important, okay? But skill refers to the ability of using that information and applying it in a context. So what's more valuable today? Having information when everyone has the same information, or being able to use information and be able to actually use it and execute it? Why the Leadership Academy? Because it's important when there's millions of information and we have now access to unlimited information to get the information from the right places. There's information overload. Who are you learning from? Your doctors, your parents, your guidance counselors, your teachers, your managers, a lot of other people. They're all telling you different things because they're not growing up in the same world as you. So it's important to be surrounded by circles of influence and people that matter, people that you're learning from, people that you're learning with, people that you're able to teach for. Why Leadership Academy? Because the power of habits. Okay. And, I'll just share this with you guys. A lot of y'all know about, a lot of y'all started to make money, a lot of money with this job, probably a lot more money than some of you all ever thought, right? I always tell people when they start the job, I want you to make so much money that you have to redefine what a lot of money is to you. Why TLA? Because, well, you learn powers of habits. You guys know if you save $3 a day, right? You're starting, a lot of y'all are 18 on this call. If you save $3 a day, you know, you sell, I don't know, not even like a Shears holster. Basically, the price of a Shears holster per day, okay? You put one Shears holster a day per way into your bank account, right? And if you're making about 10%, which is about what the average is out across the stock market, or any index fund over, 10, 20, 30, 40 years, about 10% per year. And that's, over 100 years. Well, guys, that's $1 million. Becoming a millionaire ain't rocket science. It's pretty damn simple. In fact, it's pretty easy to do. Why don't most people do it? Well, habits, right? If you make this as the average net income for people, if you wait to start this process till you're 30, it's like, yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm only 18. I mean, I can always start when I'm 30. Once I have a job, once I'm out of college, once I'm away, I can start, I can start good habits then. I can kind of be a kid while I'm at it right now, Well, if you do that, I mean, you'll still be great. But that $1 million turns into 1/3 of that. Okay. 10, 12-year difference. Value is starting now, and our lives change when our habits change. Here's the last thing I want to leave you guys with. Why Leadership Academy? Because the world needs leaders, guys. The world needs leaders. I know you all, and we don't talk about a lot of Cutco stuff, but I have this meme here, okay? 2019, crazy year. 2020, hold my beer. Okay, a lot of y'all, I saw memes about how crazy 2020 was in like February and March. And then they're like, you thought 2020 was crazy, and then April came around, right? And it just some of y'all have experienced. This is already, for most of you all, like that time period between 17 to 23 years old is one of the most transformative, crazy times of your life. No one's really going to understand you. You barely understand yourself, okay? And then you add on all these crazy problems going on in the world, and you're just trying to go to college and deal with your life. Guys, the world needs leaders during times like this. And I think that's something like you'll see this generation, they care a lot more. They look to the parents and adults and be like, how do we not have better leadership around all these issues that are happening? How are there not more people stepping up? And I want to challenge you guys that the world right now is itching and thirsting for real, genuine leadership in our country and in our world. Okay. But the problem is you have to start working towards becoming a leader. The problem that you guys all have right now of looking up at the generations above you and being like, why are there not better leaders? Is because they didn't do these things when they were a kid. They didn't become leaders. And a leader, guys, here's what a leader is, by the way. A leader is someone that can influence their environment versus be the one that is influenced. That's what a leader is. It's one or the other. Okay, you are either the one doing the influencing or you're the one being influenced. Most of your friends, most of your peer group, most of your generation, they're being influenced 24/7 by their parents, their friends, the media, whatever you want to name it. Okay, you're getting influence. A leader is someone that goes out and they're not shaped by the culture, they shape the culture. They impact others. And the reality is you can care and you can have a great heart and you can want and you can desire to influence and impact. But if you don't have the skills and the ability to influence, then it doesn't really matter how much you care. You can't really do much about it anyways. You're not able to go out there and make an impact. Okay. And when I talk about influence, I'm talking about there's two skills that I really think every single person needs to have, and it's sales and it's leadership. And that's why we have TLA. We have TLA because we help people become the next best version of themselves. We help people take that potential that is really there and rise to it. There's a saying, I think it's by Winston Churchill. It's a quote, most people, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. Most people aren't afraid of the fact that they think they might actually, suck or be inadequate or be mediocre. Most people are actually way more scared of what would happen if they actually tried. What would happen if they actually gave 100%? And TLA is about helping people become that best version of themselves, and there's a saying, but I'm too young, Andrew, but I'm too old. I just want to be a college student. Okay, well, let me let you guys in on some historical figures that were pretty young here. Mozart, he was 8 years old when he wrote his first symphony. Y'all might recognize this young lady. Anne Frank was 13 years old when she changed the entire world with her diary and with her words that she wrote. This lady was 17 years old, a teenage peasant and a female in the 1400s, and she changed the trajectory of a war that lasted over 100 years. and single-handedly changed that. Alexander the Great was 18 years old when he led and conquered the Persian Empire, which is the largest empire that had ever graced the face of the earth up until that point in time. And he conquered them as the leader at 18 years old. This guy, T Max was just talking about him, 21 years old when he invented the device that every single one of you all cannot live, breathe, sleep, or live without today. So, I want to start off with that. Is you're not too young to start working on becoming the version of yourself that you were sent here to become. You're not. And that's what TLA is about. TLA isn't significant just because we train leaders. Okay, there's a lot of places you can go for leadership academies, and every company has their version of corporate management or growth or leadership training. The difference is we train leaders when they need it the most. We train leaders during the most important times of their lives, when they are students, right? When they're the most shapeable, when they're most moldable, when their decisions have the highest, most significance and ramification for what the 20, 30, 40, and 50 years of the rest of their life will look like. That's when we impact people. That's why we have the Leadership Academy. And so the Leadership Academy is here, guys, to teach you guys how to become the best version of yourself. It's here to teach you guys influence skills, sales and leadership ability, and how to be really a manager. It sets you up to become a Cutco manager if you want to, because you learn management skills of these things. You learn how to manage your time. You learn how to manage money. You learn how to manage energy, people, self. Okay? Everybody in the world has the exact same amount of time as you. Why do certain people get a whole lot more done? There is an art to managing time. A lot of people, I was just talking about this on a podcast the other day. A lot of people view time management as something you either do or don't do. And time management is a skill. If you don't do it, that means you don't even have time. Not doing it doesn't mean you're doing it doesn't mean make you good at the skill. Okay. But not doing it, you're very completely lost. So I'm not saying congratulations, you have a planner. How good are you at managing your time? How good are you at okay, cool. You now, you are now going to learn how to make some money this summer. Do you know how to save it and keep it? Do you know how to spend it and invest it? Do you know how to give it away the right way? Energy. Okay. I'm telling you right now, it's a lot easier to do anything when you have a lot of energy, right? Just learning good energetic habits, knowing how to sleep, energy, working out, health, fitness. Because believe it or not, that's an important aspect and role. If you're going to be able to influence somebody else and be a leader, you always have to lead with your energy. And you can't do that if you're feeling exhausted and tired and like a piece of crap. Okay. How to influence and manage other people, right? Positively, in a positive way, how to positively impact other people. And most importantly, how to manage and influence yourself. Because if you can't do that, well, you can't do any of these, and TLA is really the door. Okay, it gives you these skills. It helps you become the best version of yourself. And it's the gateway to any and all opportunities that we have in our company moving forward. Everything starts with TLA. So I'll wrap things up with this. I want to walk you all briefly through kind of what the doors, and maybe if this is your first conference, if this is your first event, maybe you'll have some light bulbs of wow, I never thought about that before. Maybe I could see myself doing that. Or I've never thought about doing that before. Maybe I could work towards that this summer or for next summer. For some of you guys, you've seen these before, and maybe you have a light bulb that you weren't having before. Maybe you're reaffirmed and you get some even bigger and more crystal clear vision of exactly what it is that you're looking for. The first step, though, of anything is being here, guys. And I know that might sound corny and funny, but look, there's a lot of people in this call. We got almost 400 people in this call. And there's also a whole lot of people in every single one of your offices that aren't on this call. There's a whole lot of people that weren't invited to this event. Okay, there's a whole lot of people that were invited to this event and chose not to be at it. And you all are the people that made that conscious choice. Okay, success is a choice, and all these small little choices add up. Second step is you got to be a performer. Okay, you can't. Here's the deal, guys. You can love basketball. You can really, really want to coach the team, but if you're not a good basketball player, you're not going to be the captain of the team. Okay. At the end of the day, we are a sales organization, and leading. Part of leadership is leading by example. Okay, you've got a performance, and there's a saying, "Hey, I can't hear what you're saying until I see what you're selling." Everything starts with 30-30. Okay, you can't even interview for TLA unless you're at 30-30, and 30-30 is what initially qualifies you to be able to do that. Number one. Second thing is you got to be a team builder. I mean, there's been some people that have barely sold 10K for the whole summer. They barely made it to an interview, and they were such a crystal clear choice into TLA because they were one of the biggest and best team builders that summer. Like, look, when you're a team builder, you're becoming a very, very valuable asset to not only our organization, but any organization that you're in, because you're worth a lot more than just one person or one individual sales. You contribute towards that team. And that's something that we look for in future management candidates and people that get into TLA. The first step, a lot of you guys have been coming to our Saturday key staff meetings every single week. Okay, that's the first step. The first kind of office title or promotion or position that you can gain in the office is becoming part of our key staff leadership group. And we have those calls every single Saturday. And a lot of you guys have been taking advantage of those. Some of you haven't. I encourage you to do some of that too. That's really the first step to getting promoted. And I'm really excited about this one today because we have, in just a few minutes, a couple assistant manager, intern promotions that will be available for some of the groups and people on this call. So I'm going to come back to those here in just a second. I'm really excited. I'll talk to you guys before I wrap up here. TLA, what it really does is it sets you up for our branch manager opportunity. I would say about 99% of people, they go into TLA with the desire, the goal, the outcome to eventually have the opportunity to become a branch manager and set themselves up to become a 5-star recruit. I don't want to take away from our message here later, Leap, but Luke Maseko is going to talk to us a little bit about his branch manager experience, what it means, the branch manager opportunity. And it's really cool. If you ever ask Luke, we have a really, really cool story. This is actually a photo of Luke when he was first getting ready to run his office. This is him running his office in Boca Raton. What some of you guys might not know is actually I was an assistant manager. My first summer as an AM in Fort Lauderdale. Luke was a brand new sales rep. The next summer, he became an assistant manager in Fort Lauderdale, and I ran my first branch office in Boca Raton, Florida. The following summer, Luke ran his first branch office in Boca Raton, Florida, and I moved down to Miami, and the rest has been history ever since. We have some of our top branch managers from last summer, Neela Amy and Mason Linker. And, as you're hearing this, you might have a light bulb moment. For me, I remember my light bulb moment was when I was sitting on a bus, I think with Luke. We were in New York, in Olean, on our way back from the factory. And I remember him leaning over to me, or maybe I leaned over. I don't even know the exact conversation, but I had a light bulb moment. I was like, hey, dude, I know we were all going to do this like next summer, but we could probably do this for a couple more years and really run the show here. If we stuck at this, we could have a couple summers and do something significant. In fact, like, who knows, maybe we could run the whole company. Right. And, that's kind of where things went. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit, for Cutco through college. A lot of you guys have heard this. This is our TLA collegiate track. If you get into TLA, your first summer, you just got to earn your spot. Okay. That's really what it's about. It's about earning your spot. It's about making a statement, getting on the radar, and you got to sell and perform at a high level. Your second summer, most people go into it and become a branch manager. We have multiple people, Adam Staub, Matthew Pizarro. They sold one summer, became a branch manager the next summer. Matthew Pizarro graduated from high school last year as a senior at St. Brendan. The next summer, he's running his own office for Wesley Chapel, Florida. I ran 3 branch offices in college. So some of y'all have an opportunity, if you're not a senior graduating this year, from college, you might have a couple summers where you could branch a second time. If you do that, look, the first time you run a branch, you're learning how to build a business. The second time you run it, you're learning how to grow a business. If you ran it a third time, it's learning how to scale out a business. Some people go take the Taylor Max or Cart route. He ran 2 branch offices and then became a Cutco sales professional. And the end goal is that we are setting people up. If you're part of our Cutco through college program, is that we're setting up people to become 5-star college graduates. Because that's the goal. We want people equipped to be leaders when they graduate college. We want people that aren't crossing their fingers and hoping that they get a job. They're not going out on the Great American Job Search and hoping they get an interview or lining up. They're going out and they're making a list of the companies they want to work or want to be interviewed by, and they're going out and interviewing those companies. And that's the opportunity that TLA creates for people. It creates 5-star recruits. It creates people that have options out of college. And whether that be is becoming a district manager with our company, which is Vector's career opportunity. This is what I did for a couple years out of college. This is Eddie De Las Cuevas, Mike Abramowitz, right? It's either Vector's MBA or a career opportunity. And outside of working with some pretty amazing people, there's a lot of other financial perks, things like that. You get some free watches and cars and all sorts of stuff. But realistically, guys, as a district manager, you have the opportunity to do 2 things. And I would write this down in your notes if you're looking at these opportunities at all. And by the way, these are beyond college, so some of y'all are hearing this right now. This is maybe going to apply to you in a couple years. Some of you all, this is just like definitely not for you. And some of you all might be on this call where you're like in a situation where like, hey, Andrew, school's not really like to be honest, school's not really for me. I'm not even sure, like, hey, if coronavirus is still going in the fall, like, I don't want to go take online classes at school and pay, like, that might be you. Okay, cool. But like, you might honestly have an opportunity to be in this role 1 year from now. And that's the challenge that I want you guys to have is where can I be 1 year from today, or even more powerfully, a couple years from today when I'm graduating college? Do I have opportunities like becoming a district manager? And the two things I'd write down for that are, number one is very, very high income, and then mentorship, coaching. Me and Jeff make jokes that we're like really, really high paid teachers. It's kind of what it's like. If you like impacting, if you like leading, if you like working with young people and students, our district manager is an awesome opportunity. And T-Max is a CSP, as you guys just saw, and they get a chance to work with our realtor programs, closing gifts. I write down a lot of flexibility and personal autonomy, and I write down high income. Those are two of the perks that I think you really get as our CSP opportunity. And these are some of our post-college opportunities, guys. But the goal is that when you graduate is that you have more options and better options than anyone else that you're graduating with. And how do you do that? You do that by becoming a 5-star college recruit. You do that by opening up other doors and opportunities for you. So when you go out and you interview with your med schools and your grad school programs, you already have a foot in the door. You go in there, and it's one thing to have the stuff on your resume. It's another thing to show the skills of speaking and being able to stand out in those interviews, in that process. And that's what we teach people in TLA. We teach people how to become the best version of themselves and how to lead. And I'll tell you guys right now, we're looking for A players this summer. Some of you guys have already made statements with what you've done, during the SC1 push. And I would say this is kind of like the get on the radar push. I would say even more so, really SC2 is like that's when statements are made. That's when, the decision process makes. We do TLA interviews right after our SC2 push, middle way through the summer. So if you want to make a statement, like, start gearing up, start thinking, how do I become, the question is not like, here's what you guys want to be thinking about. Not like, how do I get into TLA? How do I make it very, very obvious that I'm going to get into TLA? That's the question you want to be asking. Not how do I scrape by and maybe make it in? How do you make it so you're like, oh, Christina Colomb, obviously she's going to be in TLA. How do you make it something like that where it's very, very obvious, you stand out to your peers, and you can become an A player? And Jeff and I will probably be reaching out to some of you guys in the future to have some further conversations about how to be an ace, how to be an A player, and how to really make us how to stand out in the division. With that said, though, guys, I want to wrap up this message before we go to break with doing a quick little round here of promotions. And
Yes.
These are individuals that, and this is not, by the way, I do not think that just because you're an AMI, you're guaranteed a spot for TLA. I think most of you will at least get an interview. But these are people that are making statements earlier on in their summer. These are people that are doing the right things, creating the right habits. They're going to get a taste of management experience. They're going to get a taste. Number one, your resumes are going to double this summer. Like if you're an AMI, right? If you get promoted to become an AMI, like some of y'all, like you transformed your resume entirely in 2 or 3 weeks with having a really strong FAFSA and starting the job, because now you have all these numbers and financials and accolades you can put on there. You add on an AMI experience. Hey, I ran these interviews. I helped with field training. I helped schedule people. Like I helped lead and train and develop the rest of the team. I helped the office with this. I did this. I mean, your resume is a completely different story. So I love that you're getting a taste of that, improving your resume. And these are the people first in line for paid assistant manager roles. Our assistant managers, most of them are, y'all will see them. They work a ton. And most of them are making between 10, 20, and some of our top managers will make, 30 grand plus in income this summer. And it's that these people are the first in line for those opportunities. I also argue they're first in line, to get some potential TLA interviews. So I've got some from both the Florida Caribbean. Jeff, do you want to do Florida Caribbean, or you want me to just rip through them?
You can whip through them, yeah, because we got to get to break, so go for it.
Florida Caribbean's assistant manager intern promotions. I want to go ahead and recognize the following individuals. So Antonio Morales from the Palmetto Bay office, Rebecca Tirdo from the Palmetto Bay office, congratulations. Diego Menjivar from Fort Myers, Karina Ortiz from Ponce, Ambar Rodriguez from Ponce, Liz Reyes from Ponce, Abdiel Cosme, Andrew Oroche, Jean-Louis Reyes, and Natalia Requejo, and Ryan Velasquez from the San Juan.
Requejo.
All my Miami people, yes. Right? I grew up in Palm Beach, didn't grow up in Miami. All right, anyways, congratulations to those individuals. Are also AMI promotions from the Florida Caribbean. Jordan Maloney, Bonnie Newman, Katie Bishop, and Maximo Banya Congratulations from the Boca Raton Delray office, newly promoted assistant manager interns. Claire Blaine from the Port Charlotte office, congratulations. And then Alexandra Moreno, Alondra Catala, Daphne Colon, Jonathan Santana, and Gabriela Soto. Jonathan Santana from the Caguas, Gabriela Soto from Agadia, and Genesis Cordero from Mayaguez. Congratulations to those individuals here. And I think, do we have more? Is that Florida Coast next? Nope, we got more Florida Caribbean. George Flores, Isabel Lopez, Ricardo Prieto, and Sebastian Barrios. Congratulations from the Humacao office. Katie Phillips, Olivia Shepard, and Joe Landy. Nice work from the Naples office. And Liliana Roscoe, Khalil Lara Quente, and Samara Barak or Brock from Fort Lauderdale. Congratulations to those individuals. And from our Florida Coast division, the following assistant manager intern promotions. I want to recognize Chloe Corey from the Clearwater office with Brianna McNary, Brittany Weigart, Emily Allen, and Tiana Longwang Sufam from Long Sufam.
Longsuform. She's Thai. Longsuform. Asians, what's up?
Congratulations to those individuals from Clearwater. Ainsley Basham, Sunil Menezes, Riley Croft, Spencer Trujillo, and Benjamin Sedlock. Okay, only those first three are from St. Pete. The second two are from Doral. Congratulations to those individuals. And then finally, Taylor Rosenthal from Sarasota. Congratulations, our #1 push performer. And all of our many kick-ass leaders stepping up here in the Tampa crew. Nick Franklin, Liz Lopez, Eric Garcia, Drew Pope, Elon Shervoni, Alex Derry, Chris Lopez, and Michaela Langford. Congratulations to those individuals. Super proud of you. Super excited for you guys. And looking forward to touching base with you all here soon. Ladies and gents, go out there, make a statement, get into TLA. We're going to go ahead and take a break.
Yeah, it is now 1:08, everyone. We're going to take a shorter break, not quite 15 minutes with a 12-minute break. So we'll come back exactly